Good morning. It's Saturday, January 28th, 2023. This is not a ride into work video. This is a ride to the dealership video. I'm one of those freaks that gets their oil changed at the dealership. Just write all your hate down in the comments. Just let it flow through you. I wanted to be there. I wanted to be there at 7 in the morning. It's now 7:30, and I'm just getting started on my way. I had planned to do some stuff yesterday, and I completely forgot. I got home, uploaded the video. I did some work on my computer. So I think I was telling you I have an old NAS drive that I can't use anymore, but it's got a 1 or 2 terabyte hard drive in it. Old spinny Mabob hard drive. Anyway, it was a weird conflagration of things. Why was I taking my computer apart? To clean it? That doesn't sound right. Maybe I was. I started to thing on the side of the road. I was starting to take it apart to clean it. I'm just going to go with that for now. It may just be ADHD. I have no idea. I can't remember for the life of me why I was taking my computer apart. I do know I wanted to move it ever so slightly. It's on my floating desk all the way up against the wall. I wanted to move the whole workstation like maybe 10 inches to the left, because I just feel we're spending more time on the computer together. And even though it's got 2 giant monitors, we're kind of huddled together in that corner. So I wanted to move the whole thing, because I originally envisioned having 3 computer setups on that desk. I don't know that is necessarily not necessarily a good idea. I've got my work rig set up on the one side. I've got my regular, I'm just going to call it my gaming rig, because that's what I mostly do with it as an adult. I'll do what I want. So yeah, my good computer, my gaming rig is on the right side. So I wanted, what I did was I moved everything over 10 inches or so, so it's much more comfortable. Just slight differences make the area better. Everything's not on top of each other. It just doesn't feel squozen in there. It takes up more real estate, but it effectively uses that real estate. So I'm happy with the setup. I actually do have a picture. I will try really hard to remember to at least put in the comments the picture of the new setup. The whole words thing. So in the process of doing this, I guess what was happening was it had to be cleaning, because I was using a can of compressed air, because just regular air is not good enough for me. I was blowing some of the dust off. I was taking the front off. It's explained before, I bought this during the height of the pandemic when you couldn't get graphics cards or anything like that, but you could get full blown systems. So I didn't build my own computer. And now it's going to be another 10 years before I get the itch to build a computer, and something new will happen, and I won't be able to get components, and I'll end up buying another off-the-shelf rig. So anyway, in the process of dusting it, I started tearing it down, taking all the side panels off, and it's a Landley case, and the bottom, which houses the power supply, when I took the sides off, this is the first time I noticed that there are thumb screws on the back where the power supply goes, and I'm like, what's in here? Fully expecting to find a power supply, but when I opened it, that's actually where all the there's all the power cables are routed down there, obviously, and there's drive cages, and there's connectors for SATA and Molex. There's a worm drive for those really, really old hard drives. But I was like, huh. And that's when I had the thought, I just take the, I'll take the hard drive out of the NAS and put it in here, hook it up, and I'll have another, you know, a couple terabytes of space, which is something I've been lamenting. I like saying lamenting, apparently. I have no idea what it means. So I went on a quest to find a SATA cable to hook this hard. Like there's what appeared to be a power cable. What's weird is the power cable, and if I'm wrong on this, tell me so I don't burn my house down. The power cable is a long L, and the SATA cable is just a little short L. I know it's right. Don't worry, I absolutely know that that's correct. So I go questing for a SATA cable, and I go into the basement, and I start, you know, looking for old computers, which, you know, it's not hard. You just, like, I found 4, like that. Brought them up, opened them up. Effing gross, let me tell you. Apparently, I don't think these were all mine either. I think, not that I'm in any way explaining how gross they were on the inside. Just dust, like, you know, how those old computer cases would acquire bunnies of the dust variety. Anyway, opened them up. The 2 that were, that I thought had the best chance of being usable weren't. They were, I don't know what the style is, but they had ribbon cables, and they were, to give you an idea of how old they were, which isn't crazy old, I don't think, but I could be wrong. My concept of time as I grow older gets strangely disjointed. They were both XP machines, which now, of course, I'm thinking, hey, if these bastards still work, it'd be nice to have an XP machine, because I've never had any luck trying to run an XP emulator. If I have a native platform, I can run all those wonderful games I like Castle of the Winds and things nobody's ever heard of. So anyway, struck out, couldn't find any SATA cables. I decide to take out the hard drive cage, install the hard drive. I don't power it because that's stupid to put power to if I don't have a SATA cable hooked up to it. Button the whole computer back up, clean it, put everything back in place. And of all the places that I looked for computers, I didn't think in the office itself, where I was standing 2 feet from my foot, because there is a bit of a graveyard underneath the floating desk. There's a case, a Ariza case that I bought many years ago. Really nice case when I was going to build a computer the last time. Huge case, lots of space, but old style power connectors and things like that. That's not a big deal, but it's a really nice case. There's nothing in it except for the power supply. Really nice light up gaming power supply. It's funny, the power supply, it's probably crap. I'll look up, like, if it's any good, because, like, you don't want to use a crappy power supply. I paid a lot of money for that case, but it was one of those deals where it shouldn't have been. How am I out of gas? It was one of those deals where it shouldn't have been expensive. So there's a big scam. If you ever buy anything and they say you'll get like a rebate, but it'll come on a card, they never send the card. So you have to call, and you have to call a couple times. The big hope there is because there's a separate fulfillment company that sends the cards, and the way they make money is by not giving you the money. So they don't send the card. It takes 6 to 8 weeks for you to get the refund. By then they're hoping you don't remember. You ask for it, like, oh, okay, we didn't get it, we'll send it to you. I think sometimes they even don't send it the second time, and by then you've probably given up, because you wait and you wait and you wait, and then you gotta, like, if you're not marking your calendar, you don't know when 8 weeks has gone by, blah blah blah. So anyway, yeah, it cost me like $60 more than it should have, because I was supposed to get a rebate. I never got the card in the mail. It was on like this. So anyway, next to that computer is was my daily driver computer, and it's embarrassing. It was a really old computer years ago, and it's beat up. The cats have knocked it off of the desk multiple times. So it's a crushed up bent metal husk. In fact, when I was using the computer, I had a stack of Legos that I was using to support the old ass graphics card because it had been knocked down so many times. So yeah, this thing was cobbled together. At the time, it was already, I believe, a Frankenstein of at least 3 other computers, and it had been through hell, and it was still working. Like I said, literally had to make a stack of Legos as a bracket for the graphics card, which was like one of those cheap, like the graphics card was this big. It was tiny, but it was, the thing had been through hell. Anyway, it turns out I had SATA cables in that rig, which I didn't discover until I put the last thumb screw back in the case I just put together. And at this point in the evening, I wasn't prepared to take it all back apart just to hook up that other hard drive and go through, which may or may not be an easy process of getting the BIOS to recognize it. So that's as maybe. I don't know what the hell the point of the story was. Anyway, that's what I did last night instead of vacuuming my car. So this morning I got up, I had to vacuum my car because it was full of peanut shells. And I'm taking it to the dealership, and they probably don't care, but I do. And so it was important for me to clean the car. I meant to do it yesterday. I didn't do it. I did it this morning. That's part of the reason I'm so late. The other part is we got up late at about noon. Just felt that I had to be in Compton soon. No, I got up late. I didn't get up at all. My wife woke me up at 6:30, which is really when I wanted to leave for the dealership. So, a couple of morning rituals out of the way. I haven't even been caffeinated yet, but I do believe they have free coffee at the dealership. Keurig type setup. I call everything that takes pucks a Keurig. I used to call everything that takes pucks a Tassimo. I don't even know if Tassimos are around anymore. I have 2 of them. I have 2 of the machines, but I don't know if they make the pucks for them anymore. I don't like puck coffee. The guy who invented puck coffee doesn't like puck coffee. He's a lot of dead animals on the road. He fears he's destroying the planet, and he is, because people just go through all these pucks. Like at a given day. Oh my God! There's so many dead animals on the road. Jeez Louise, it's like a nightmare. Like, how does that happen? Is someone aiming for these fuckers? Sad little dead animal faces. That's depressing. I'm going to stop telling you about the animals on the side of the road, or in the middle of the road, or both sides of the road. Oh, caulk. I'm going to tell you about caulk. I see there's an entire tube of caulk off to the side. If I had time, I wouldn't stop and get it. It's just garbage. Although I should stop and throw it out. But late. So I'm happy with what I did. I moved things a couple of inches, but it improved the workspace greatly. I now have the monitors further over this way. They're currently angled for one person setup, but if someone else sits down, all I got to do is slide that one monitor back a little bit. There's plenty of room for both people to be able to see both monitors very well. I also found out in the process of dismantling and remantling my computer that like a lot of things happened by coincidence. I hit a button I didn't mean to hit. So when I'm running Discord, it always says alternate audio device detected, and do you want to switch devices? And I always say no. And today I accidentally hit yes, and not today, yesterday, last night I accidentally hit yes, and sound started coming from a different place. It turns out that that ridiculously big monitor that I have also has built-in speakers. I had no idea. So when I bought this computer, I specifically bought some really nice monitor speakers that I have up on the shelf behind it, because my entire life, when you buy a computer, it doesn't come with speakers. A lot of monitors don't have speakers. This was like is like a high-end monitor, and it's got like one of those thin bezels. So like there's no chance that there's any speakers in this. It never even crossed my mind that there would be speakers in this monitor. But yeah, like in the back, like the speakers are in it somehow, and they shoot up and they sound great. I'm like, wow. Like I had no idea. So now I'm like thinking, do I want to move these speakers somewhere else? Because I have a rig upstairs in my kitchen that I have these. I bought speakers for that too. That's a computer I got at one of those work auctions I talk about. Not my work. My work doesn't sell off their equipment. I wish they would, because I would like to have some of that rack equipment that they always get rid of skids of. I'd be willing to pay for some of that stuff. I recently got a switch from my wife's work for a pretty good price. I haven't hooked it up yet. It's a PoE 48 port. I just want to play with it. Yeah, so the monitor has speakers built in. I didn't have to buy those studio monitors that I have. That's kind of a side note. But yeah, happy with the space. I will try to put a picture of what it looks like now. I don't have a before picture, which is unfortunate. But yeah, my old riggedy wrecked computer had a SATA cable sitting right in it. Like I didn't even have to take more than 2 steps to get to a SATA cable, and I ended up pulling my basement apart, opening a bunch of old tech, and witnessing like some of the grossest dust bunnies you'll ever see in your life. But now I'm thinking I want to bring one of those computers into the computer lab in my office and set it up. I really don't have room, and it doesn't make sense, but I want to do it. I also want to bring one of my Apple IICs out of retirement, but a long time ago I used to collect bulletin board systems. I used to run BBS, and I used to run a D-Dial, and I used to collect, and I am the worst person in the world. When I moved into my new house, not this new house, my last new house, I needed to make space. I needed to declutter, and I threw like a giant trash can is full of all of Commodore BBS history. Like I would go around and I would buy out entire BBSs. I would buy all their software, I'd buy their equipment, and one day I just threw it all away. I had like, yeah, it's embarrassing. Not that it has any monetary value. There may be value there, but it just I could have opened a freaking BBS museum with what I had. I may have a slight cold. I've been complaining about it all week. Now that it's the weekend, I think it's finally latching on. My buddy who's under the weather, we had a couple of texts back and forth. Maybe I caught it from him through text. So this is, I know we're rapidly coming up on the 20-minute mark, but I'm not going to follow the same rules as my weekly videos, because there isn't going to be a second 20 minutes. This is just going to be one standalone video. It might be a half an hour long. I'm not sure how long it's going to end up being, but it's not going to be a full-fledged hour and a half video. I always say hour and a half. They generally go hour 10 minutes, hour 15 minutes. I don't think there was much else I was going to cover. So it's actually the two of us going to the dealership together, because we're going to do a little. We're going to be doing stuff in the area around the dealership. Let's call it shopping. So I don't know how long it's going to take to do the oil change, but it's you know, they do that multi-point inspection. So as I've been telling you, if you've been watching my channels, my tires. Oh, let me change that too. There we go. No. Check owner's manual. You check owner's manual. Fuel level low. Yes. Gotta get gas. I get it. There. Time and temperature. So my tires are low. My windshield wiper fluid is low. Obviously, I need an oil change. I'm just. I want to make sure. Since I'm going to the dealership and they say they do this multi-point inspection, this is a nasty thing to do, but I want to see. Like, I intentionally didn't fill my tires. I expected to get this done a week ago. They're not super low. They're just low enough for all four to be in the red. Like, they're literally anywhere between 1 to 5 pounds under pressure. Enough to set off the alarms and for the little tire light to come on. I'm also low on gas, but they're not going to top that off because it's, I think it's $17 billion per deciliter or something like that. I will, on the drive home from the dealership, I'll update you if I do a video on the way home. I'll update you on whether or not my dealership, at which point I'll actually say the name, if they did all the things, if they did the things. I had to have the main control panel, the GUI for the car that's in the middle of the dashboard. I had to have that replaced after I bought the car. I forget what was wrong with it, and it was replaced, but now the one I have, it's got this bizarre problem. When people call me, it doesn't show the right time. Like, the time is right, but when someone calls me, like let's say it's 7:45 right now. If someone calls me, it's going to say 3:22 in the morning. There's like just some kind of weird offset. Like, it's not even a time zone thing, because it's not a normal amount. It's not off by an hour. It's not off by a half hour. It's off by like 7 hours and 43 minutes. Something ridiculous like that. It's not something that makes sense. Like, it's not a simple thing where it's like, oh, you're just set to Bora Bora time. Something in the brain box is going awry. I'm not talking about the car. It's very pretty here. I wish you could see it. There's a giant lake. There's deer crossing signs, bridge sign, narrow bridge sign, bridge ices before road sign, speed limit 25 miles per hour sign, sign I can't read, no fishing, diving, or loitering. Now I want to. I don't know if you could do all three at the same time. It would be possible to fish and dive, but to make that appear to be loitering at the same time, I'm not sure how I would pull that off. I'd be hard-pressed to be accused of loitering if I was diving and fishing at the same time. Loitering seems more sedentary, you know what I mean? Like, diving and fishing is like a really active thing to be doing. Probably dangerous too. When I picture loitering, I just like picture, you know, a bunch of kids on the corner. Just hanging there. Is this my turn? This is my turn. All right, I have nearly arrived at my destination. We're about 25 minutes into this video. Right now. So, have a wonderful day.